its current form, and I'll explain why. But let's talk a little bit about how it's going to change the world and what are the obstacles, particularly in Africa, given certain conditions of this continent that we've just been speaking about a little earlier. So, Rosella, I know you're from Brazil, and you've got many of the similar dynamics in Africa as Brazil. So, is cryptocurrency adoption ready? Are the people ready for cryptocurrency adoption? If yes, why? And if not, what's lacking?
I have to agree with you. I really don't think on the format that is right now, we're ready. To pay a coffee with Bitcoin, I think the fee is going to be more than coffee. In some other situations, it's going to be even worse. So if I want to donate 10 cents of dollars, it's going to be expensive to do that. So I think we're not ready yet. But that also brings us another opportunity, which is develop solutions to make it possible. So that's why what we did, I'm completely against this thing that Bitcoin's everything, Bitcoin will save the world, blockchain will save the world, blockchain, we're gonna have the cure for AIDS and all that, right? So I think we're gonna change a lot, but we need to develop stuff. So instead of to spend time in different solutions that the market is not ready yet, how about we create something and we connect on the actual market? That's exactly what we did. In Brazil, people, they try to put Bitcoin on their stores. It does not work because the owner does not even know how to declare these things. They don't know what to tell their accountant. They don't know what to tell their partner. In Brazil, we have SARS as a partner too. And so it's complicated. So why not use this opportunity? That's why we create something to connect on that particular layer, which is everybody knows how to use a card. How about I put a virus on that system, and that virus called cryptocurrency? Then maybe in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, we will be used everywhere. But the good part, again, is a new field for guys that just left university to come up with some solutions that are going to be used. But instead to try to come up with something completely out of the blue, out of the box, try to build something on top of something that exists. That's how I think we will be able to be next to them, or maybe to beat them. But that, I think, is the best way to go. And in Brazil right now, there is a lot of crypto users, but they prefer to hold the good coin and spend the shit coin. But you have to make it possible when I want to convert the good coin into the shit coin to be used. So that's what the bridge that we just built. And of course, again, now everybody can be his own bank, privacy, and all that is right there. So that, I think, is a good way for us to start to realize the world will change.
Stephen, thoughts? Is closer to home, South Africa and Africa, are we ready for adoption or not?
I think it's kind of funny. Africa is kind of this place where we've almost got the most potential to benefit from this new movement, but it's also being left behind by a lot of big international players. So I know there's multiple big international wallets who have at least 40% African user base, but they don't consider Africa as a core market for them because it's too scary to deal with banks and too scary to get fiat on-ramps and fiat off-ramps. On top of that, most people in Africa don't have credit cards and bank accounts, so just getting those fiat rails is just one step. You know, you still need to have those peer-to-peer markets like local Bitcoin and so on. But you know, having said all of that, I think it's coming. A lot of those big companies are pushing now to try find vendors that can do this for them. I think African entrepreneurs kind of have a responsibility to help these big international players to connect with people in Africa and like you said, build systems that can build on top of other stuff and plug the gaps and help smooth those on-ramps and off-ramps instead of trying to invent something brand new from scratch. So yeah, you know, I think Africa's got its challenges, but we've kind of shown in the past that we can leapfrog different technologies. So we went straight from landlines to skip landlines, went to cell phones. We're probably we heard from Abraham about the solar installations we're doing in Africa. I think we're going to skip fossil fuels and go straight to solar power. And I think we can skip the traditional banking system and go straight to a decentralized system.
Thank you so much.
That's going to be a lot of work.
Yes. So JP, you're from Malta, in the very north of Africa. You're really creating an environment, a regulatory environment to attract people in this business, in the blockchain industry, to come and create businesses, really to propagate this idea in this industry. So your thoughts on where we are as far as cryptocurrency adoption is concerned?
Yes, I usually tend to focus much more on the use of blockchain as being the foundational block of this new ecosystem, because ultimately what we are designing and what countries are designing and companies are designing are ecosystems, right, with their own governance structures, with their own protocols, voting mechanisms, and all of that. So it becomes a bit much more complicated than creating a new app or a new business, because there are lots of elements coming in. What I really do agree is that if Africa has a potential of leapfrogging stages of development, as it has done already with a number of technologies. However, although the blockchain gives you that element of trust, and even people might want to use cryptocurrencies because they trust a cryptocurrency more than the central bank of their own country or the currency due to hyperinflation and all of that, the regulatory environment will give an added layer of trust as well. So that's what we as Malta are trying to do by giving that comfort zone for people to come in and build businesses based on trust. But in the end, for the true adoption of the masses, I think it has to start very much from the foundational layers of blockchain.
Thank you so much. So a couple of my own thoughts on the topic is that there's been a lot of talk, especially before the decline in cryptocurrency prices in the last year, that cryptocurrency and blockchain technology is going to completely drastically change the world, and particularly this idea of financial inclusion. We've talked a lot, and we're going to involve everybody in the financial system, no matter what their background. And I think that's a real false promise based on a technology that is just a tool. And what I mean by that is if you've got a tool, how you use it is more important than what it is, right? Whether you've got a knife, a hammer, or whatever it may be. And so I think many of the companies also in the blockchain and the cryptocurrency industry are applying the old world order rules with a new technology and hoping that automatically it's going to solve the ills, the social ills of our world, which I think is a real shame and fallacy that we need to pierce and get through that, because ultimately with this tool we need to address the social challenges that we have, and therefore we need to see this as what it is, which is a tool. It will take social will, political will, etc., to change things in regulation, to change the way society works, to actually make things a little bit better as far as financial inclusion is concerned. It doesn't mean that the tool isn't better than the other tools we have in the past, right? So when you think about the fact that remittances are often taxed, when I say taxed, I mean like the intermediaries take, say, 15-20% of the value that's being remitted into back home. I personally think that's almost a crime to take so much from people that are working so hard to make this value. And so if we can reduce the frictions, that I think is where cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology can come into play. As Simon was saying a little bit earlier on, the world is what we believe it is. The borders aren't on the map, except for the ones that we draw. But if we have topology maps, etc., those borders don't exist. So it's really a change in mind using this tool, applying it, so that we can hopefully start changing the world for the better. So a couple of questions on that. Any of you, do you have stats or any kind of figures that we can think about as far as adoption of cryptocurrencies or blockchain technology is concerned across the continent? JP as well, any things you can share as far as how it's taking off in Malta? What are you seeing from a factual basis around the world?
I think it's a bit hard because blockchains are kind of location neutral. It's a bit hard to see what's happening where. But there are some proxies you can use. So one of the things that's very interesting is if you look at search volumes. So if you just look at Google search volumes for the term buy Bitcoin, and you look at that as a proportion of the total search volume in a country, the top 4 countries for buy Bitcoin are African. South Africa, Ghana, Cameroon, Kenya, I think. The top 3 countries for search volume for Bitcoin is South Africa, Namibia, and somebody else, I think. So we're up there. There was a recent survey where Hootsuite and another social media company did a survey to see which countries' respondents had the highest cryptocurrency ownership, and South Africa came out first with almost 10%. So obviously this is a selection bias because it's people who Hootsuite target, so they already have an internet, they have a laptop and so on. But it shows you that there's a big need for this. Other things that you also see is you can look at local Bitcoin volumes for Africa and the rest of the world, and same for Paxful. And what you see is in developed nations, the number of transactions and the value flowing through those peer-to-peer networks they spike with the price. So you'll see as the price goes up, these massive volumes in developed countries. Whereas you look at that in places like Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, you see the same in Venezuela. There isn't nearly as strong a correlation between the volume growth and the price growth. And that's because I think in developed nations, people are buying cryptocurrency to make money. And people in Africa need it. They're hedging our currency risk, they're doing remittances. There's lots of, I know of at least one multinational company in the farming industry who are thinking of closing down their African operations because they can't get their customers to pay them. The customers have the money, they just can't pay them. And I'm talking millions of dollars a month. And this is threatening food security, all that kind of stuff. And that's just one industry, so this happens everywhere. So I do think there is evidence, but we've got to uphill battle.
Yeah, well, I think these are very, very interesting statistics which show most of the difference between survival or inclusivity versus speculation. And I think that is going to be the key determining point. If you have to see the media coverage in the developed world, it would be what the price rally is, what the price crash, and all that hype around that. Whilst what we really need to focus is that again, creating that ecosystem in order to facilitate adoption. Because once we give people identity, access to financial markets, then we can start really looking at raising up the bar in terms of social living, social standards, and all of that. So it's all about inclusivity, and I think the figures already show that the ability of cryptocurrency to be a solution to broken traditional systems.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like we have all this technology available. We have tools, we have the means, we have everything. But we're still missing the most important part, the internet. If you just look, like there is some countries in Africa who barely have internet. So on the moment that maybe the whole world is covered by internet, then I think all of that situation will be solved. So if I have to have a birth certificate of my son, my daughter, I can do straight on the blockchain that will launch it. If I want to register, let's say, just bought a car, done. So I think the internet took over the entire world, maybe the satellite connection, Google are working on it, Tesla is working on it. So I think on the next 2 years, we'll be very interested how they will put people, how they will connect people as well. It's not, especially in Africa, it's not everyone that has a smartphone. But very soon will be everyone, because the old phone is not going to be possible to use. And well, we close to Venezuela. We see the kind of problem that they're facing. They are crossing to buy Bitcoin in Brazil side because they can get it, and they prefer to hold on Bitcoin, their own currency, and then where they can get it in Brazil side. So there is a lot of people from Venezuela buying. And just for me to finish, there is one thing that we are working on. Everybody's saying we need to, in Brazil there is 40 million people without banking, to not be included in the banking system. We're not working on that. We are trying to get the other 160 that is in the bank to get out of the bank and get a better system. But we need to create it. And the key for that to happen is through the internet.
All right, I'm going to take a couple of questions from the floor, so please think about your questions.